One Piece. Play as Naruto the Sage and join the Straw Hat Pirates. Chapter 11. Miss Wednesday, you just joined the Bucklo Works, and you can bring such good news. The whales on an island like Labu are enough to feed all the people in the town for 2 or 3 years. You have done a great job, ha ha ha. Mr. Nine laughed exaggeratedly. I also discovered such a big whale by accident, Mr. Nine, wow wow wow. Miss Wednesday, imitating Mr. Nine's exaggerated smile. At this time, Vivi had just joined the Bucklo Works not long ago, and she wanted to successfully complete the task assigned by her superiors, so as to obtain more information about the top management of the work agency. If this mission is successful, she should be able to gain the trust of the Bucklo Works. The boss behind the work agency has already been identified. If it is really that person, it will be a disaster for Alabasta. Seeing Vivi's dazed expression. Miss Wednesday, hurry up and grab your weapon, and catch this whale while those people are not paying attention, Mr. Nine reminded. Got it, Mr. 9 inches. Miss Wednesday, who had a high ponytail and suspenders, raised the cannon in her hand and aimed at Rab. Mr. 9, who was wearing a green suit and a crown, also raised the cannon and aimed at Rab. Boom boom. 2 shells were fired and quickly rushed towards Rab's stomach. This whale is ours. Mr. 9, prepare for the explosion of victory. Ho ho ho, ho ho ho. The two laughed exaggeratedly. Just as the 2 shells were about to hit Lab, one of them jumped up from the shore and blocked the flying shells with his body. Ah, how is it possible? How can someone use his own body to block the shells? Is this human? Miss Wednesday opened her mouth in surprise. Lin Chi, Lin Chi. The Straw Hat Pirates on the shore watched as Lin Chi, who had just jumped up from the shore, was hit by a shell and shouted loudly. With a poof. Quote. Lin Chi, who had just blocked the shell in front of Rab, disappeared. Miss Wednesday, did you see that? The person who was hit disappeared. Do our shells still have such power? Question mark. Mr. Nine said. What's going on? This mission should have been successful, but who showed up out of nowhere? Wei Wei was still not recovered from her surprise. Everyone, don't be afraid, that's just my clone, Lin Chi said. What is this, Lin Chi? It's really scary. Nami said. Who on earth wants to hurt Lab? Luffy said angrily. Luffy, look over there, Lynch said. Luffy stretched out his arm and caught the lurking Miss Wednesday. Luffy said angrily, Humph, you actually want to hurt our companions. Do you want to kill them? Zoro's sword was already slightly unsheathed. Oh, beautiful lady, put on your coat, don't catch a cold. Sanji put his clothes on Vivi in a gentlemanly manner. Seeing Luffy and Zoro who were about to take action, Lynch said, don't do it yet, he has something we need. While speaking, Lynch walked to Mr. Nine, snatched the recording pointer from him, and said, Luffy, Zoro, Usopp, you can do it, but, lady, forget it. Lynch, who knew Vivi's identity, would definitely not hurt her. After a beating by the 3 of them, Mr. Nine had fainted. Lynch handed the recording pointer to Nami. Nami asked curiously, Lynch, what is this? The islands along the route are connected by a magical magnetic field. The recording pointer can record the magnetic force between the islands. If we want to go to the next island, we have to rely on this recording pointer. Lin Chi said. It turns out to be such an important thing. Nami said. Kaskro said, Lin Chi, you are right. You have to choose a route now. No matter which one you choose, the destination is the final island, Raftel. Luffy, let's choose the next island pointed by the record pointer as the starting point. Lynch said. Okay, scratch scratch scratch. Luffy stretched out his arm to take the meat that Sanji had just prepared, but accidentally broke the record pointer. Luffy only heard Nami's roar and beat Luffy violently. Lin Chi, what should we do now? Nami said to Lin Chi in a crying voice. I think Senior Kaskro will help us, Lynch said. Since you saved Lab, I will give you my record pointer. Kaskro said. At this time, Lynch saw that Mr. Nine on the side finally woke up. He was about to go over and knock him out, but he didn't expect that after seeing the situation clearly, he actually knelt down to the Straw Hat Pirates. Vivi was also. Mr. Nine and said, I have something to ask of you. Please take us back to Whiskey Peak on the way. Whiskey Peak, what a strange name, what is that? Luffy asked. That is the town where we live, and it is the next island you are going to, said Mr. 9. You just wanted to kill Lab, and now you are making such a request. Where is your own ship? Nami said. Our boat is broken, and we only make this request because we value your character, Wei Wei said. Luffy, according to the record pointer, we must also go to Whiskey Peak, so take them with you, Lynch said. Lynch knew that there were several members of the Bucklo Works at Whiskey Peak. This was a battle that could not be missed. It would be a good opportunity to practice and improve his strength before the duel with Crocodile. Okay, you guys can get on the boat and go together, Luffy said. Is this true? Luffy, Lynch, what's wrong with you? Why are you taking these two unidentified people on board? Usopp said nervously. Usopp, don't worry about it. Lab is fine now, Lynch said. Then let's go forward like we are heading for Whiskey Mountain, Luffy said. Seeing the Straw Hat Pirates were leaving, Labu whimpered towards the sky. Lab, wait for us to come back, we will definitely bring your friends back. Rab, we will definitely come back after we travel around the world. Don't forget us, Rab. The Hat Pirates bid farewell to Lab and headed to the next island. Could they be the pirates we have been waiting for? Roger is such an incredible man, isn't he? Castro said meaningfully as he looked at the Straw Hat Pirates going away. Nami, it's snowing outside, put on this thick coat. Lynch saw that Nami was wearing thin clothes and said worriedly. Lynch, it was so warm just now, but now it's snowing. Nami, who was wearing a thick cotton coat, said to Lynch shivering on the Mary. Lynch said beside Nami, in this sea area, whether it is the wind, the sky, the waves or the clouds, none of them can be trusted. There is only one unchanging thing, which is the direction indicated by the record pointer. It has to be Lynch, he knows so much, unlike Luffy and Usopp, who still have the energy to make a snowman in such a cold day. Nami praised. Mr. 9 and Vivi were also directed by Nami to shovel snow. It was sunny until just now, then it suddenly started snowing, and then there was thunder, the seasons and weather are all messed up. Nami said. This is the Grand Line. You haven't been at the helm since just now. Is that okay, Nami? Lynch said. I just checked the direction. Nami. It's bad, Nami, quickly confirm the direction. Lynch said nervously. Lynch knew the dangers of the Grand Line, so he always reminded Nami. The ship's direction of travel was actually distorted. The waves got higher and an iceberg was spotted at 10 o'clock. Nami, don't be afraid, you are our navigator, Lynch said. Soon with Lynch's help, Nami adjusted her mentality and turned the boat 180 degrees. Hurry up and pull the sail rope to make the starboard side face the wind. Luffy and Usopp, go pull the triangular sail. Sanji, go to steer. Under Nami's precise command, the ship finally resumed its course. Don't let your guard down, I don't know what will happen next. I finally realized the horror of this sea area. I finally understand why it is called the Grand Line. Even my navigation skills are completely inapplicable, so it can't be wrong. Nami said. Nami secretly glanced at Lin Chi, and was very glad to have such a reliable partner like him. Otherwise, she would definitely not be able to cope with such a complicated situation just now. Nami, look, it's an island, we've reached Whiskey Peak, Lynch said excitedly to Nami. We have arrived at the first island, Nami said. What a wonderful island, with so many giant cacti, Luffy exclaimed as he sat in his special seat. Then we say goodbye. Thank you for sending us back, sweethearts, see you again if we are lucky enough, Mr. 9 said. We will see you again, Miss Wednesday. Lynch said to Wei Wei meaningfully. Mr. 9 and Miss Wednesday turned around and jumped into the sea, swimming towards the island. The Mary was heading towards the port in the fog. Lynch saw many figures swaying on the shore behind the fog. The next second. Welcome, warriors of the sea. Welcome to Whiskey Peak. Great adventurers, welcome to Whiskey Peak. Crowds of people suddenly appeared on both sides of the shore, cheering loudly. This scene made everyone on the Mary a little confused. Everyone was surprised that someone welcomed pirates like this. Zoro reminded everyone to be careful. Nami said, don't forget that we have to stay on this island for a while. If the recording pointer does not record the magnetism of this island, there is no way to go to the next island, because the recording speed is different on different islands, so some islands may take a few hours, and some islands may take several days. Luffy said, then let's go to the island quickly. Lynch pretended not to know and responded to the crowd like everyone else. The cheering crowd now is an illusion. This is a branch of Baroque Works, a base for bounty hunters who specialize in hunting pirates who have just entered the Grand Line. But the next thing should be a banquet. Fill your stomach first so that you can have a good duel with the members of Baroque Works. Lynch thought. Welcome, warriors of the sea, la 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 la. Welcome to Whiskey Peak. I am Ikaram, and I am now the mayor of Whiskey Peak. The man with curly hair on both sides of his head, who would occasionally say a few words while talking, warmly welcomed the Straw Hat Pirates. Mr. 8 was lurking in Baroque Works like Vivi. He was the captain of the guard of the Kingdom of Alabasta. Ikaram was a captain who was very loyal to Vivi, and Lynch recognized him at a glance. Our town welcomes pirates who dare to take risks on the sea. We have as much wine as the sea, which we are proud of. We will serve it as a snack to accompany your adventure stories so far. Come and enjoy the banquet with us. Ikalem said a series of words. I'd love to. Luffy, Usopp, and Sanji shouted. Nami asked, how long does it take to record the magnetic force on this island? We'll talk about this later. The important thing now is to enjoy the party, beautiful lady. Ikaram said as he led the Straw Hat Pirates into the house. There was constant laughter at the party. Lynch saw Usopp constantly bragging about his achievements. The lady next to him shouted, Mr. Usopp is great. Sanji was surrounded by beauties. The people next to him shouted, look, the pirate brother, he confessed to 12 ladies at the same time. Zoro, who was still on guard, relaxed when he heard about the wine. He and Nami joined Ikaram's toasting competition. Cheers to the competition, keep cheering, the champion will be rewarded with 100,000 Baileys. Ikalem shouted. Amazing. Miss Nami has already had her 12th cup. Determined to win, Nami vowed to drink every cup. Seeing her friends immersed in the atmosphere of the banquet. Lynch also started a competition with Luffy to eat. Wow, the captain has already eaten more than a dozen people's meals. Mr. Ninja has eaten almost 20 meals. 3 chefs are already exhausted. Someone on the side exclaimed. Luffy and Lynch ate themselves into big balls amid the surprised shouts of the crowd. Lynch saw Ikaram sneaking out of the house. It seemed that they were going to take action, so Lynch followed him out. Under the incomplete moonlight, Ikaram whispered, tonight, the cactus dancing in the moonlight is also beautiful, and the melody of death is about to play. Mr. 8, you really are like a poet. Mr. 9 and Miss Wednesday appeared behind him. What about them? Miss Wednesday asked. They are about to fall into hell. Ikalem said gloomily. The door of the room behind him was pushed open by the tall Miss Monday. That girl is really a drinker. Luckily I did something with her glass. Miss Monday was also drunk, so she covered her head and said. She took off her disguised nun outfit, revealing her burly body. Look at this. I have already investigated them. Mr. 8 took out Luffy's wanted order. The 3 were shocked. He is worth 30 million Baileys, that stupid guy. It's almost a success, go to their ship and take the treasure. What about them? What should we do? Mr. 9 asked. Go ahead and capture them alive. Really? Excuse me, can you let my companions have a good sleep? We are all tired from the day's voyage, said Lynch, who had been observing them from the rooftop. Yes, my companions are very tired, don't disturb them. Zoro said on the side. Zoro is worthy of being the future vice captain of the Pirate King. He is too vigilant. Lynch sighed in his heart. How could that be? Aren't you all asleep? Ikalem asked in surprise. As he spoke, a group of bounty hunters had gathered under the roof. As a ninja, you must always stay alert, said Lynch. This is the lair of bounty hunters. For the pirates who have just entered the Grand Line, you should rob them right away. There are probably more than 100 bounty hunters here. That's just what I want. I will be your opponent, the Buckler Works. Lynch said. Zoro, these are my prey, don't snatch them from me, Lynch said with a smile. Lynch, you just mentioned Buckler Works. No wonder I feel their name is familiar. When I was a bounty hunter, their company wanted to recruit me, but of course I refused. Zoro said. Why? Lynch said. Because they don't want me to be the boss. Zoro said proudly with a sword in his hand. In the Buckler Works, the employees do not know each other's true identities and only call each other by code names. The identity of the boss is still a mystery. It is a criminal group that only faithfully executes orders. Of course, these are all secrets, right? Lin Chi said. How did you know the name of our company? Ikalem's face was full of horror. I'm really surprised. Now that you know our secret, I have no choice but to kill you. Cactus Rock will have another tombstone. Ikalem said. Bang, bang, bang. The sound of bounty hunters' gunfire continued. Gone. Went there. Find them quickly. In an instant, Lynch and Zoro, who were on the roof just now, disappeared. In the surprised expressions of everyone, the two had already come among them. Found them, among us. Okay, let's start the fight, Lynch grinned. Lin Chi, I got the new swords Shizu and Sandai Kidetsu in Rogue Town. This is a great opportunity to try them out. Let's have a blast, Lynch said. Asshole, you dare to look down on us. Shoot. These idiots actually beat up their own people. Disappeared again. Kill them quickly, they are just a ninja and a swordsman. They only know how powerful Luffy is, who has a bounty of 30 million berries, but they don't know that Lynch and Zoro are also powerful. Ikaram is still looking for Lynch and Zoro. Suddenly Lynch stood beside Ikaram and put a shuriken against his neck. Lynch said in a deep voice, Ikaram, the captain of the Alabasta Kingdom Guard, the identity of the boss behind the Buckler Works, have you found it? Found it. Found the ninja. The bounty hunter raised his gun and aimed at the ninja. Stupid, idiot, stop it, do you want to kill me too, stop it now. Ikalem said loudly. Ikalem's face was full of horror. Who are you? How did you know that? Ikalem had countless guesses in his mind. Could it be that he also knew Princess Weiwei's identity? No, he must be killed. He must not be allowed to threaten Princess Weiwei's safety. Saxophone shotgun. Ikalem took out his weapon and fired at Lynch. As expected of Mr. 8, his secret weapon is amazing. Ninjas will definitely not be able to escape the bombardment. After the smoke and dust cleared, Lynch next to Ikalem turned into a wooden stake. What? That's possible. I clearly hit him. Ikalem was surprised. The ninja turned into a wooden stake. What? Another devil fruit user. Sure enough, we can't underestimate them. The bounty hunters exclaimed. Zoro, it seems you got two nice swords. Yes, this is so sharp. Sandai Kitetsu, Shizu. At this time, Zoro was madly using the bounty hunter to try out his two new swords. Found it. Ninja and swordsman together. Are you really going to take on all of us with just the two of you? Ikalem said. Zoro, you have almost tried your sword, so leave them to me, Lin Chi said. The two looked at each other, and Zoro put away his sword tacitly. Multiple shadow clone technique. Lin Chi was surrounded by the crowd and quickly formed seals with his hands. In an instant, hundreds of Lin Chi appeared. We are not just two people, hundreds of Lynches said together. There are so many ninjas. How can this be? The numbers are totally dominant. What are you afraid of? We are bounty hunters from Baroque Works. Ikaram's calm and confident voice brought back confidence to the bounty hunters. In the expectant eyes of the bounty hunters, Ikaram pulled his collar and several cannons emerged from his hair. As expected of the captain of the Alabasta Kingdom Guard, he was able to remain calm in such a situation, which made people a little admired. Such a loyal minister, I will not hurt him. Lynch looked at Ikaram's peculiar weapon and sighed in his heart. Shoot, shoot. Before they could shoot, hundreds of shurikens were thrown from all directions by Lynch, and the bounty hunters were solved. At this time, a sudden voice sounded in Lynch's mind. Ding! Congratulations to the host for defeating many pirate hunters of Baroque Works. The role-playing degree is increased by 1%, and the skill, Detonating Talisman, is rewarded. Detonating Talisman. This is a powerful ninja tool in the world of Naruto. It's just in time. I can use it to deal with Mr. 5, the explosive man later. I must try whether the detonating talisman is more powerful or his booger bomb is more powerful. The scene changes to the banquet hall. Welcome town, Whiskey Peak, is it the lair of bounty hunters? I thought it was like this a long time ago. Nami, who pretended to be drunk, suddenly opened her eyes and said with a smile. Nami began to search for the treasures hidden by the bounty hunters. Luffy, who was eaten like a meatball, was still sleeping soundly. Drunk Sanji was still saying, "Girls, come closer." Usopp, who was dreaming, shouted. Usopp cheering. Song number 721 begins. There aren't many treasures here. What kind of a bounty hunter's lair is this? It's such a disappointing town. Nami said disappointedly. Seeing all the bounty hunters fall down. I understand. The Navy made a mistake in issuing the bounty order. That's it. If he is the target of a bounty worth 30 million Baileys, then it makes sense, said Ikalem. This guy turned out to be the real captain, Mr. Nine said. I see, that is to say, I was wondering how such a silly guy could be worth 30 million Baileys. Wei Wei said. But even so, it's such an ugly scene. The bounty hunter of Baroque Works was defeated by just one ninja. It seems that even the few of us need to deal with them very seriously. Ikalem said. You may also know that the smaller the code number of our Baroque Works members, the higher their level and destructive power. The three of us are agents with only one-digit codes, which means that we are incomparably stronger than the guys you just dealt with. Mr. Nine said confidently. Lin Chi didn't know where Mr. Nine got the courage to say this, so he could only say helplessly, isn't it too meaningless to talk about titles when fighting? The strong will win, that's all. Mr. Monday, the swordsman, is now in your hands, Ikalem said. Lynch saw the burly Mr. Monday walking towards Zoro and reminded him, Zoro, don't look at her because she is a girl. She has superpowers. Interesting, Zoro said with a smile. Your opponent is us, the ninja, Ikalem said. Captain Ikalem, actually we don't have to be like this, maybe we have a common goal, Lynch said. Saxophone shotgun. Before Lynch finished speaking, a burst of artillery fire came again. What an impatient captain, can you listen to me? Lynch, who used a clone to avoid, hid in the alley. Ikalem was heard saying to Vivi, Princess Vivi, be careful of that ninja, she knows our true identity, and she must be killed. Is he sent by the boss behind Baroque? Vivi asked in horror. It's not clear yet, but to be safe, we must kill him. Don't believe anything he says, Ikaram said. Ikaram saw Zoro being lifted up by Mr. Monday in the distance, and then slammed to the ground. He said to himself, it seems that the swordsman has been dealt with. Let's find the ninja quickly. Just when Ikalem was feeling proud, there was a sudden gasp. Ah! Lynch knew that it was Mr. Monday's voice. It seemed that Zoro had defeated Mr. Monday, who had extraordinary strength. Found it. Vivi, riding on Kalu, found Lynch. Be prepared, Mr. Ninja. Lin Chi saw Wei Wei standing on Kalu's back with the charming perfume in her hand. The charming perfume dance, come on, enjoy my beauty. Wearing a sling, Wei Wei twisted her waist. Wei Wei, listen to me, I know who the boss of Baroque Workshop is, maybe we can work together. Stop talking, Ikalem said, you can't believe what you say. Wei Wei, who is still dancing the perfume dance, said the charming perfume in her hand, and the fragrance spread. Lin Chi actually knelt down for a moment. What a good kid. The last attack is the peacock saw. Go ahead, Kalu. Vivi, who was about to attack Lynch, actually ran past her due to Kalu's charge. Lynch, who recovered a little, complained, what a stupid princess. Can you please listen to what I have to say? Zoro on the side also complained, I'm really ashamed of myself for fighting with you guys. Don't move. Your important companion will lose his life. Ikalem caught Luffy who was still sleeping and threatened Lynch. Well done, Mr. 8. Now you can neither escape nor fight back, Wei Wei said proudly. Ikalem started pulling his collar again, and many cannonballs and hand cannons came out of his curly hair. Boom. Mr. 8 is still powerful. This time the ninja is definitely dead. Mr. 9 said. Are you talking about me? The smoke cleared and Lynch was standing between Ikalem and Mr. 9, holding the shuriken against their necks. Ah, how is it possible that I didn't hit him? Mr. 9 said tremblingly. How could we let you disturb our captain? Wei Wei, you better stop moving. Listen to me, I know the boss behind Baroque Works. Before Lin Chi could finish his words, he was interrupted again. Even though it was midnight, this town was really lively. They really gave us such a boring job, Mr. Valentine. Mr. 5 said. Mr. Valentine holding an umbrella and Mr. 5, the booger man, appeared. Are you here to laugh at us? Ikalem said. I do have this purpose, of course I am here to carry out the mission, said Mr. 5. Please kill this ninja quickly. Ekolem seemed to have seen a savior and begged Mr. 5. Stop making such boring jokes, we are here to help you, Mr. 5 said loudly. The exploding booger man finally appeared. They should have known Weiwei's identity and were ordered to kill her. They must be stopped. Facing such a scene, Lynch thought. Hey, Afro, are you here to kill them? Lynch said. Lynch wanted to use the detonating talisman to kill them now, but the detonating talisman was too powerful and would affect innocent people present. Besides, Nami should be hiding behind the wall and eavesdropping at this moment, so he could only find another time. You know too much, ninja, Mr. 5 said unhappily. What mission are you here for? Ekolem said. The culprit that the boss specially sent us to solve is here. The boss said that my secret has been known. If someone knows the boss's secret, it will be a dead end. We investigated and found that an important person from a certain kingdom had sneaked into the Bakla works. The culprit is the princess of Alabasta, Nefert. D. Weiwei. Mr. 5 said proudly. Ekolem, am I right? Lin Chi said. I won't let you touch a hair of the princess. I'm betting on my title as the captain of the Alabasta Kingdom Guard. Princess, run. Ikaram roared. Vivi rode on Kalu and quickly ran towards the port. Mr. 5, the booger cannon, fired a pile of prepared boogers at Ikaram. Lynch used the clone technique to avoid the explosion. The shadow clone stood in front of Ikaram to resist the explosion, but it still affected him. What a terrible booger. This scene stunned Zoro. When the smoke cleared, Mr. 5 and Mr. Valentine went after the fleeing Vivi. The injured Ekolem caught Lynch. Mr. Ninja, seeing that you are so powerful, I have an unwelcome request. The two people just now are both devil fruit users. I have no ability to resist them. Can you protect the princess for me? Please, if you can send the princess safely to the kingdom of Alabasta, you will definitely get a great reward. Please save the princess, Ikaram requested. Hey, Lynch, don't listen to him, they just wanted to kill us. Zoro didn't expect Ekolem to make such a request. Zoro, let's save the princess. I want to meet that booger man. Nami appeared from behind the wall. Lynch, wait a minute, she walked up to Ekolem and said, is that huge reward you just mentioned true? I agree to your request. Can you give me 10 billion Baileys? 10, a billion Baileys, Ekolem was frightened. If you don't ask us for help, the princess will be in danger. Nami said in a threatening tone. Nami, saving people is more important. Lin Chi said. I am a first-class soldier, and I cannot promise you such a large amount of money. Ekolem sighed helplessly. Isn't a princess of a country worth this much money? Nami is indeed a money grubber. Even at this time, she is still thinking about extorting money. Saving people is more important. Lin Chi is anxious, but he dare not go against the ship tyrant Nami. If you can get the princess to her safely, you can negotiate with her directly. Maybe you can, Ekolem said. Hearing that he could earn 1 billion Bailey, Nami said, you mean to rescue her first, then I'll go and rescue your princess first. Lynch, Sauron, go, and save the princess. Nami pointed at the two of them and said. Let's go, Sauron, go save people. Who would go, idiot? You promised it yourself, why do you want us to go? Zoro looked unwilling. You can't beat them, Zoro, Nami said with a smirk on her face. How about this, Zoro, if you succeed in rescuing the princess, then the money you owe me will be written off, Nami said. When did I owe you money? Zoro wanted to refute a few more words, but Nami started to talk about Zoro borrowing money to buy a sword in Rogue Town. In fact, Zoro returned the 100,000 Baileys he borrowed from her to Zoro intact, but Nami insisted that there were still 200,000 Baileys of interest that had not been repaid. Who in the Straw Hat Pirates could outsmart Nami? As she spoke, Nami took out her abacus and started to calculate. Lynch whispered, Zoro, hurry up and leave. You can't argue with Nami if you accept your fate. Greedy woman, let's go, Lin Chi. Sauron said helplessly. You must save the princess, Lynch, Zoro. Ah. That's it, Nefert D. Weiwei. Mr. 5 launched a prepared booger at Weiwei. Weiwei had seen the power of the booger cannon. At this moment, she had a horrified expression on her face and was so scared that she stood still. Zoro, can I borrow your Shizu for a bit? Before Zoro could agree, Lin Chi had already pulled the knife from his waist, leapt in front of Wei Wei, and stood Shizu in front of him, chopping the booger bomb that Mr. Five launched into two pieces. The booger bomb exploded behind them. Boom boom. Wei Wei was saved without any danger. Ah, I cut my booger. Zoro shouted in disbelief. Zoro, you are worthy of being the famous sword Shizu. I will give it back to you. As he spoke, Lynch threw Shizu to Zoro. Zoro said angrily, Lynch, my Shizu has been contaminated. Don't worry, Zoro, I will avenge Shizu, said Lin Chi. Why is the ninja so difficult to deal with? Wei Wei, who had not yet recovered from the panic, thought that Lin Chi was coming to hit her. Then she took out the peacock saw and prepared to attack Lin Chi. Her weapon was knocked away by Lin Chi's kunai. Don't get excited, Princess Wei Wei, we are here to save you. Why? Ikalem clearly said that he can't trust you. Stupid princess, if you want to survive, you can only trust us now. We have reached some kind of agreement with Ikalem. Lin Chi said. Is that you, the ninja who defeated all the bounty hunters in town? Mr. Monday said. Why do you want to protect the princess of Alabasta? Mr. Five asked. Lynch said, I just don't like you. Never mind, no matter what, you are our enemy, said Mr. Five. Take this, the serial booger bomb. Mr. Five threw two prepared booger bombs at Lynch. You dare to provoke us? No one can escape from me. I am an explosive man whose whole body can explode. Mr. Five said arrogantly. Did the ninja die just like that? It seems like he was just a mysterious guy. What a pity. He was quite handsome. A trace of sadness flashed across Mr. Valentine's face. Boom boom. The smoke dissipated. What disappeared? How is it possible? No one has ever escaped this trick. Mr. Five stared in surprise. Afro, you are wasting your ability. Lin Chi said. The three people who disappeared have appeared behind them. I actually escaped this trick, Mr. Five gritted his teeth and said. Found it. At this time, Lynch suddenly heard Luffy's voice. He thought it was an illusion. It was not until he saw Luffy appear like a ball that he remembered what this single-celled animal wanted to do. Zoro thought Luffy was here to help, and waved to him excitedly. You actually beat up the people who hosted the party for us. You are so ungrateful. Let me beat you up, Luffy said angrily. What a slow-witted guy. Wei Wei couldn't stand it anymore. Zoro, Luffy is in your hands first. Lynch said. Zoro said helplessly, okay, this idiot. What kind of internal conflict? That's great. We can just kill each other. Mr. Valentine said with a sly smile. Lynch said, that's our own business, Mr. Five. Your opponent is me now. If you only know how to run away, it will be difficult to protect your princess. Mr. Valentine said and glanced at Wei Wei. Multiple shadow clone technique. Shua shua shua. Lin Chi made seals with his hands. In an instant, thousands of Lin Chi surrounded Mr. Five and Mr. Monday. How come so many ninjas suddenly appeared? Mr. Valentine exclaimed. Mr. Five gently pushed his eyes to hide his frightened expression and asked. Are you also a devil fruit user? I am a ninja from the land of fire. Thousands of lynches answered together, and the voice resounded throughout the Whiskey Peak. Even if there are countless of you, you can't escape my bomb, Mr. Five shouted. Then he started to pick his nose again. However, after picking for a long time, his hands were still empty. Lin Chi said, what's wrong, Mr. Five, did you pick your nostrils clean? I am an explosive man who can explode all over my body. Mr. Five, who was hit by Lynch's words, was ready to rush towards Lynch and attack with his own body explosion. Suddenly, Lynch's clones turned around and ran towards the alley behind them. Only Lynch's real body was left standing in front of Wei Wei. Mr. Five, who was surrounded by thousands of Lynch just now, laughed and said, what's wrong? Are you scared by me? Are you hiding? Mr. Valentine laughed loudly, Ninja, your clones run too fast. Are they ignoring you? Can you block my explosive attack by yourself? Mr. Five saw that Lin Chi's clones were gone, and he was more confident in speaking. If you don't try, how do you know? Lin Chi actually said with a smile. This angered Mr. Five. Lin Chi stretched out his right hand and hooked his little hand. Come here, Mr. Five. After saying this, Mr. Five could no longer bear it. He opened his arms and rushed towards Lin Chi and Wei Wei. Come on Mr. Five, let them taste your ultimate explosion. Mr. Valentine is cheering for his partner. Shinobi, Mr. Ninja, run quickly, that's Mr. Five, a senior agent of Baroque Works, who has the ability of the explosion fruit. Princess Vivi said in a trembling voice, pulling Lynch to run. But when Lynch saw Mr. Five rushing over, he turned his head and looked at Vivi. He raised the corner of his mouth and comforted Vivi, saying, don't worry, the show will start soon. You ninja, are you planning to take my attack? Mr. Five yelled. Suddenly, Mr. Five, who was rushing over, froze in his tracks. What is this? I am actually tied up. Mr. Five, who was unable to move, said in a cold sweat. Mr. Five, what are you doing? Get rid of them quickly. Mr. Valentine shouted. It turned out that the clones of Lynch who had just hidden in the alleys on both sides, holding a kunai tied with silk thread in their hands, had already set up a trap and were waiting for Mr. Five to take the bait. Countless detonating talismans floated towards Mr. Five along with the silk thread, wrapping him up like a big dumpling. Right now, Lynch shouted. Lynch's clone ran out of the alley. Lynch fired 2,000 times. Thousands of Lynches kicked Mr. Five together and kicked him into the air. Impossible, how could this happen? Mr. Five tried to struggle a few more times. Boom boom boom. A huge explosion resounded through the night sky of Whiskey Mountain. Didera is right, explosions are indeed art. How about it, Wei Wei, the fireworks are pretty good, right? Lynch said to Wei Wei. Ding. Congratulations to the host for defeating Mr. Five, the agent of Baroque Works. The role-playing degree is increased by 3%, and the skill of summoning is rewarded. Wow, summoning is finally here, Gamabunta. The next island is just right for him to deal with Mr. 3, the user of the wax fruit. Lynch, is this your new move? Not bad, said Nami who came over. Look, Luffy and Zoro are fighting, Lynch said helplessly. These two idiots, leave them to me. Nami walked towards them angrily. Bang bang. Lynch saw that Nami, the ship tyrant, calmed down the fight between Luffy and Zoro with 2 punches. Luffy was held in Nami's hand, and Zoro was still attacking each other with his fists. Lynch couldn't stand it anymore, so he explained to Luffy. The two of them calmed down. Ninja, you actually killed my partner. Mr. Valentine is the user of the light float fruit. At this moment, she saw Mr. Five being killed by Lynch, and she had used the fruit power to float into the air. Try my trick, ninja, 10,000 kilograms weight. The light Mr. Valentine suddenly possessed the strength of 10,000 kilograms and smashed towards Lynch. It seemed like a powerful trick, but Lynch dodged Mr. Valentine by turning sideways. A big hole was smashed in the open space. Looking at Mr. Valentine floating from the hole, Lynch said, if I kill you, Sanji will not let me go. You should leave quickly. Mr. Valentine, who knew he was no match for Lynch, floated into the air, but not long after, he heard a bang and Mr. Valentine was bombarded. Lynch knew that it was done by the unfortunate duo of Baroque Works. They specialized in dealing with derelict agents. Nami looked at Vivi and said, Princess Vivi, we should talk about money. Fortunately Princess Vivi is fine. We almost lost the 1 billion Baileys. Lynch is still reliable. Nami said and rolled her eyes at Luffy and Zoro. Miss Nami is in command, that's great. Lynch gave a thumbs up and praised. What are you talking about? Why did you save me? Wei Wei said. By the way, do you want to sign a contract with me? I want 1 billion Baileys as a reward. You have seen how powerful these guys are. I think this deal is worth it. That's impossible, Wei Wei said, shaking her head. Why you are a princess, but only 1 billion. The country of Alabasta is in the midst of civil unrest. In recent years, some people have begun to plan a revolution, and people have been rioting one after another, causing the country to become increasingly chaotic. We suspect that it is the Baroque Works that is inciting the people, but this organization is very tight. If we want to get more intelligence, we have to infiltrate the Baroque Works, so that we can know the identity of the mastermind behind the scenes. What a courageous princess. Have you found out their identities? Solon Road. Alas, since we are in the midst of civil unrest, we must be out of money. Nami sighed. Who is the mastermind behind this? Luffy asked curiously. Old, You'd better not ask about the boss's true face. Don't ask me. This is the only thing I can't tell you. If you tell me, your life will be in danger. Wei Wei looked embarrassed and waved her hand quickly. The mastermind behind this is Shichibukai Crocodile, right? Lynch said solemnly. What are the 7 warlords of the sea? Can they be eaten? Luffy asked, shaking his head. Wei Wei hissed, that can't be said, Mr. Ninja. Lynch replied calmly, Luffy, the 7 warlords of the sea are pirates whose legal status is recognized by the world government. They are very powerful pirates to have such a title. Vivi, although Crocodile said that they want to build an ideal country, it is a big lie. Their real goal is to seize the kingdom of Alabasta. Lynch said. Vivi said, yes, Mr. Ninja, how did you know? I've always wanted to tell you that I know who is behind this, but you and that curly-haired uncle didn't even listen to me. Wei Wei said, I'm sorry, Mr. Ninja, I should have believed you. This is not important. What is important is that you must go back quickly to tell everyone the truth, expose the conspiracy of the Baroque works, quell the people's riots, and restore normal order in your country. Lin Chi said. Princess Wei Wei, don't worry, we will definitely. Wait a minute, Lynch. Nami's scolding interrupted Lynch's words. What are you talking about? He is a man who wants to seize a country. He must be a very dangerous guy, and he is also a pirate recognized by the world government. One of the 7 warlords of the sea, we can't possibly defeat him. Lynch, Luffy, think about it carefully. Lynch said seriously, Nami, it's too late, we must escort Vivi back to Alabasta now. Why? Nami asked angrily. Look up at the wall. Everyone looked over and saw a halai and a vulture standing on the wall. They were the unlucky duo from Baroque works. They flew away after a while. Ah, Vivi opened her mouth wide, frightened. It was obvious that she knew what it was. Nami pulled Vivi's collar and asked, what's going on with that bird and halai just now? Are they going to tell Crocodile that we know his identity? I'm so sorry, Wei Wei kept apologizing. Is it enough to just apologize? Why did you drag us into this? We were chased by the 7 warlords right after entering the Grand Line. This is too much. Lynch said to Luffy with a smile, it's not bad to have the 7 warlords as opponents. Luffy said, not bad. What kind of person would he be if he could meet such a strong opponent? You are so lucky to meet the 7 warlords so soon. Zoro said with a smile. Nami was furious after listening to the conversation between the 3 people. She yelled, shut up, Nami. Although we haven't been together for a long time, I appreciate your care. Nami left angrily. Lin Chi said quickly, Nami, where are you going? Run away before your appearance is exposed, Nami said as she turned and ran. But before she got far, one of the unlucky duo blocked her way. It wrote and drew on the notebook, and looked up at everyone from time to time. Then it took out the portraits of 4 people. The painting is really good. Nami clapped her hands helplessly and praised. This means that we can't even run away now. The 4 of us are now on the wanted list of Baroque works. Nami was already crying and squatting in the corner. Wei Wei comforted her, if my savings of 500,000 Baileys are enough, I'll give it all to you. No, I want to live, Nami shouted. Lynch walked over and squatted with Nami, whispering, Nami, although Alabasta can't come up with 1 billion berries, think about it, Crocodile is a pirate publicly recognized by the world government, a pirate who can legally plunder. Just think about it, how much treasure he has, how much Baileys it is worth, don't you want it? Treasure, of course I want it, but Crocodile is one of the 7 warlords of the sea. Nami turned her head, her eyes turned into $, and she said in a crying voice. Nami, how is Arlong? He is awesome, isn't he? He was defeated by Luffy. Vice Admiral Smoker was imprisoned by me and can't get out. What are the 7 warlords of the sea? Luffy is the man who wants to become the Pirate King. He can only be our stepping stone. Lynch said excitedly. Nami was temporarily convinced by Lynch's words. Don't worry, I have a plan. Ikalem dressed up as Wei Wei. Ikalem, why are you dressed like this? Vivi asked. Lady Vivi, please listen to me carefully. If you are targeted by Baroque works, someone will chase you immediately. Not to mention knowing the boss's secret, it seems that there will be about 1,000 people chasing you. Quote. I disguised myself as a princess and took 3 dummies with me, and took the boat directly back to the kingdom of Alabasta. While the pursuers' attention was attracted by me, Lady Vivi and everyone else sailed to Alabasta via the normal route. The contract has not been established yet. Escorting the princess, what does this mean? Nami was frightened by Ikolem's words again. Uncle, let us send her back home, Lin Chi said. They say Crocodile will catch up with us, Nami said. Is Crocodile that powerful? Luffy asked. He is now one of the 7 warlords of the sea, so he has no bounty. However, his previous bounty was as high as 80 million Baileys. Isn't 80 million Bailey 4 times what Eren has? Reject it now. Nami waved her hands quickly. Nami, don't forget Crocodile's treasure, Lynch said. Lynch couldn't let Nami stop them from escorting Vivi back to the country, so he could only paint a big pie for her and appease her. As for whether Crocodile had treasure or not, it depended on luck. The most urgent task was to get Vivi on board and escort her back to the country. Are you willing to send her back? Ikolem asked. Luffy smiled and said, okay, it feels very interesting. Ikolem said, thank you very much. Princess Wei Wei, please give me the permanent pointer. Permanent pointer? Nami asked in confusion. Nami, the permanent pointer is simply a permanent version of the record pointer. The permanent pointer will never lose the magnetic force of the recorded island and will only point to that island forever, Lynch explained. Yes, Mr. Ninja is right, this is the pointer that records Alabasta, Ikolem said. Then, I leave the princess to you guys, Ikolem said to everyone. I think this may be a difficult journey. Be careful along the way, Princess Wei Wei. Ikolem gently warned. She knew that Ikolem had chosen a dangerous path to protect her. She looked at Ikolem with tears on her face. Please take care of yourself, Princess Vivi. After that, Ikolem sailed away from the port alone. Under the setting sun, Vivi sobbed and said to Nami, Ikolem has been taking care of me since I was a child. He is a very trustworthy person. Don't worry, he will definitely return to Alabasta safely. Nami patted Vivi's shoulder and comforted her. The next second, boom, the dazzling fire lit up. Someone bombarded Ikolem's ship, and the harsh explosion swept across the port. The pursuers of Baroque works came. How is Nami's pointer? Lynch asked anxiously. No problem, it's already been recorded. Nami glanced at the pointer and said. Bring her here quickly, let's sail, Nami. Vivi, Vivi, Nami called her. Vivi looked at the fire in the distance and stood stiffly. Her lips were bleeding from her own biting. Nami hugged her and said, it's okay, we will definitely send you back. What about them? Even though he's always like that, he saved the East China Sea. So what about Baroque works? We don't care about the 7 warlords of the sea at all. Lynch saw Nami's lips trembling when she spoke. In fact, she was afraid in her heart, but she comforted and helped Vivi when she was most vulnerable. Lynch walked over to Vivi and said, believe me, the curly-haired uncle will be fine. We will meet again in Alabasta. Lynch knew that the explosion just now was just made by Robin to cover up her tracks. How could she, who was so kind, kill Ikarim? Really, Mr. Ninja. Woo, Wei Wei burst into tears again. Let's get on the boat and go. We can't let the uncle's efforts go to waste, said Lin Chi. Zoro, go and start the boat, I'll go wake them up, Lynch said anxiously. At this time, Sanji and Usopp were still drunk at the banquet. Lynch held Sanji's leg with one hand and held Usopp's nose with the other. What's wrong? It hurts. What are you doing, Lynch? Sanji roared. It hurts. My nose is going to break. Usopp's nose was in close contact with the ground. Lynch ran to the port anxiously. There is no time to look for her now, Vivi, Nami said anxiously. But I can't leave it here. What are you talking about? Lynch asked. Her fast duck is gone, Nami said. Is this the one? Lynch pointed at Kalu who had already boarded the boat. As expected, he ran fast and actually left his master behind and boarded the boat first. Lynch looked at Kalu and complained in his heart. At this time, everyone had boarded the boat. Lynch said, go upstream along the river, there will be a tributary that can quickly enter the route, let's go. Let's sail. Luffy shouted. The Mary left Whiskey Peak in a mist. How many pursuers will come? Nami asked worriedly. Are there 1,000 pursuers? Lynch asked. Wei Wei said. I don't know, but there are several strongholds similar to Whiskey Peak nearby. Oh, the boat is moving. Wait, stay one more night. This town is so interesting and the girls are so cute. Such an interesting place, I wonder when I can see it again. Sanji finally woke up and Usopp talked to each other. You dare to say nothing when you don't know anything. Stop talking, I'll explain it to you later. Lynch was afraid that if Sanji and Usopp continued to talk, Nami would not be able to bear it and beat them, so he said quickly. But Sanji, who still wanted to pick up girls, kept chattering. Nami couldn't stand it anymore. Bang bang. Zoro asked, have you finished explaining? How come it's so fast? Nami raised her fist and said, I omitted the complicated parts. Seeing that the ship had finally left Whiskey Peak completely. Nami said easily, it's great to be able to escape from somewhere. We finally escaped the pursuers. Be sure not to let the boat hit the rocks. Leave it to me, I am the navigator of this ship. Nami said confidently. She came to her senses and asked Luffy, were you the one who spoke just now? Luffy shook his head. Nami, look behind you, Lin Chi said. After hearing what Lin Chi said, Nami suddenly had a bad feeling. Everyone looked back. It's a nice ship, it's really lively. Robin, who is still tanned and wearing a purple tights, sits on the railing and looks at the people below. Is that you, the ninja from the Straw Hat Pirates? You have a strong ability of observation, Robin said. Lin Chi was in a good mood after being praised by Robin. Vivi saw Robin and was shocked and said, how could it be, why are you here? I saw Mr. 8 over there just now. You're the one who killed the curly-haired uncle. Luffy yelled. Why are you here, Miss All Sunday? Wei Wei asked loudly. Miss All Sunday, who is your partner this time? Nami asked. Lynch said, it should be Mr. Zero Crocodile's partner. Mr. Ninja is right, said Wei Wei. Wei Wei calmed down and said, she was the only one who knew the boss's identity before. I also found out the boss's identity by following her. To be precise, I asked you to follow me, Robin said. What is your purpose? Lin Chi said. Who knows? I saw that the princess was too serious, so I helped her. Princess Vivi was really stupid to be the enemy of Baroque works and want to save her country. Robin smiled with narrowed eyes. Don't underestimate Wei Wei, she is our partner now, Nico Robin, Lynch said firmly. Robin was shocked when she heard Lynch knew her real name. Who are you? Are you from the world government? Robin was wanted by the world government when she was 8 years old, so she was always very cautious. She didn't allow anyone to know her true identity. She sneered at Lin Chi. 20 rounds of flowers blooming. Ah, Lynch, what's on your body? Nami exclaimed. Suddenly, many thin arms grew out of Lynch's body. These arms firmly grasped Lynch's limbs and head. Robin saw Lynch being controlled by him. His eyes revealed a murderous intent, and he said fiercely. The hooks and claws made a click. The arms that locked onto Lynch twisted his entire body. Whoosh. The arms disappeared again. Robin smiled with satisfaction. No, Lynch was killed. This woman is so vicious. It's Crocodile's partner. Everyone exclaimed. Zoro, Luffy are ready for battle. With a puff, Lynch suddenly fell to the ground and turned into a wooden stake. Lynch's body double. Really, I was shocked. Luffy laughed. Miss Robin, I am not from the world government, please don't misunderstand me. Lynch's real body stood next to Robin. You are also a devil fruit user. Robin has not yet recovered from the shock just now. This is not important, what is important is that maybe we can be companions. Lynch, are you crazy to invite Crocodile's partner on board? What are you thinking, Mr. Ninja? Nami and Wei Wei didn't understand Lin Chi's actions. Buddy, this is the last thing I need, Ninja, Boss Robin replied coldly. One day you will understand that you also need companions, Lin Chi said with a smile. Everyone in the Straw Hat Pirates, and Princess Vivi, you have been hunted down by Baroque works. The island your pointer is pointing to is called Little Garden. Even if we don't take action, you guys won't be able to reach Alabasta and will be wiped out, said Robin. Are you the legendary captain of the Straw Hat Pirates, Monkey D? Luffy. As she spoke, Robin used the power of the flower fruit to take Luffy's hat in her own hand. Luffy shouted, give me back my hat, but Robin threw a permanent pointer to Vivi. With this, you can bypass the small garden. The pointer points to the route that our employees don't know either, so there won't be any pursuers, said Robin. You said you didn't need a companion, so why did you do this? Lynch asked. It must be a trap, Nami said with her fists clenched. Robin said, who knows what your fate will be. At this time, Luffy took the perpetual pointer and crushed it. He shouted, the route of this ship is not decided by you. Are you an idiot, Luffy? It's rare that someone tells us a safe route. Nami yelled. That girl blew up the curly-haired uncle, so I hate her, Luffy said, pressing his hat. Luffy's approach was absolutely right. If he had gone directly to Alabasta as Robin said, he would not have met Chopper, the favorite of the Straw Hat Pirates. How could that be possible? Lynch thought. Robin said, really? What a pity. I don't hate courageous people. Maybe you can survive. See you later. Robin jumped off the Mary and sat on a turtle named Banshee, showing her queenly temperament. Lynch said, Robin, remember what I said. Everyone needs a partner on this sea. We will see you soon. That woman, I have no idea what she is thinking. Vivi knelt on the ground, unable to understand. Lynch said, Vivi, don't think so much. You will understand everything when you get to Alabasta. Finally, with the explanation of Lynch's clone, Sanji and Usopp finally knew what happened at Whiskey Peak. Sanji said, it doesn't matter, since Vivi has become a companion, it means I still have a chance to show my abilities. I, the sleeping knight, have awakened, and I will definitely protect your safety. Sanji turned to look at Nami and said, Nami-san, are you a little jealous? Nami waved her hand, not at all. Vivi lowered her head and asked, can I really get on this ship? Will it cause trouble for everyone? Wei, what are you talking about? Aren't we already companions? Lynch said. Right, everyone. Lynch looked at everyone, but. Luffy shouted, Sanji, I'm hungry. Usopp, Zoro, and Nami also shouted that they were hungry. Lynch said, don't worry, Vivi, although these guys don't look reliable, they are very powerful. Lynch also shouted, Sanji, I'm hungry too, I want to eat 10 bowls of ramen. Sanji, the meal is ready, call me in time, otherwise Luffy will eat it all by himself. I was too tired from the battle last night, I'm going to take a nap. Vivi finally smiled after hearing their conversation. After dinner, Lynch was in the cabin, lying on the hammock with his eyes closed. He began to meditate. The reason why he said that to Robin just now was that he wanted her to join the Straw Hat Pirates earlier. Maybe he was too impatient. Robin's current identity is a senior agent of Baroque Works and Crocodile's partner. How can other people in the Straw Hat Pirates who are unaware of this accept her, except for Sanji, the nympho of course. It seems that to become partners, they must experience battles together and develop bonds before they can truly become companions. After 2 battles at Whiskey Peak, it's time to see my own role-playing level and skills. System of systems. Please open the interface. Okay, host, enter the system interface. Host. Lin Chi. Current character. Uzumaki Naruto. Current progress. 18%. Owned character. Uzumaki Naruto. Owned character skills. Seduction technique, shadow clone technique, transformation technique, substitute technique, seduction technique, harem technique, multiple shadow clone technique. Summoning technique. Special skills. Unlimited storage space, unlimited detonating talismans. Owned character extraction chance. 1. Lin Chi found that the system panel in his mind had changed. The performance has finally improved. New skills, unlimited detonating tags, and summoning skills are pretty good. At Whiskey Peak, after her own efforts, Vivi finally got on the boat, which means that she will have a battle with Crocodile sooner or later. He is a powerful boss in the early stage of One Piece. What will the system reward for defeating him? I am looking forward to it. Fortunately, Luffy crushed the permanent pointer given by Robin, otherwise he would not meet Chopper. I prepared a gift for Chopper when I was in Rogue Town. It has been placed in the system space. Chopper will definitely like it. The next dangerous island mentioned by Robin should be called Little Garden, where you will meet Mr. 3, a senior agent of Baroque Works. His wax fruit ability is quite powerful. He is the one who forced Zoro to cut off his legs to save himself. Although Mr. 3 will become Luffy's friend in the future, he is still just an opponent of the Straw Hat Pirates. Fortunately, when I defeated Mr. 5 Explosion Man, the system rewarded me with summoning skills. I hope that when I fight Mr. 3, I can summon Gamabunta and fight side by side. The next day. On the merry. Miss Wei Wei, Miss Nami, this is Sanji's special drink, said Lynch. Oh, thank you, Wei Wei said. Sanji ran out of the kitchen and said angrily, Linky, you took my special drink. I wanted to give it to Miss Wei Wei and Miss Nami personally. Sanji, Miss Vivi said your drink is good. Lynch said, pulling Vivi and Nami together to give Sanji a thumbs up. Luffy, Zoro, and Usopp on the deck were playing with Kalu, and laughter could be heard from time to time. Sanji, I'm hungry. Luffy's voice came. Our enemy is Shichibukai Crocodile, and he has many senior agents under him. Aren't they worried at all? Vivi's face was full of worry. Nami almost cried when she heard that name. Vivi, don't mention that name again. They are definitely not worried, but I am afraid. Lynch smiled and said to Vivi, Vivi, you also need to relax properly during the voyage. But this is the Grand Line, everyone is too relaxed, Wei Wei said. Enjoy the relaxing moment now. Lynch handed Wei Wei a drink. Sanji's special drink, does anyone want to try it? Lynch also walked towards the deck. Yes, of course, the three said happily. Luffy gave Kalu one cup after another of Sanji's special drink. Kalu's eyes rolled around as he drank, as if he was drunk. They laughed loudly at Kalu. Luffy, look, there are fish on the sea. Lynch shouted excitedly. Luffy, Lynch, hurry up and catch it. We'll have the ingredients for tonight. Luffy secretly ate everything in the refrigerator last night. Sanji said. Ah, Lynch, don't mess around, we can't mess with them. Usopp was so scared that he hid behind Zoro. This must be our dinner tonight. Luffy was very happy. A big fish suddenly jumped out of the sea and rushed towards the Mary. Ah, Vivi looked at the fish that was bigger than the Mary, and her eyes were already wide open. Are these people really reliable? She cried. Rubber pistol. Two-sword style demon slash. Detonating talisman. Luffy and Zoro's attacks left a huge wound on the big fish. Just as it was about to be subdued, Lynch's detonating talisman floated towards it. With a bang, the big fish was blown to pieces, and blood dyed the entire Mary red. Lynch, how can you use a detonating talisman? My ghost has killed him. Lynch, your detonator will be strong. Lynch's detonator blew up the big fish into pieces and scattered them on the Mary. Too awesome. Vivi, covered in blood, exclaimed. Lynch, Luffy, Zoro, and Nami shouted their names. Kwong Kwong Kwong. The three of them had bags on their heads and knelt down in front of Nami. It's true that even the reliable Lynch has been corrupted by Luffy. Nami sighed. I can't escape the angry beating of the ship tyrant Nami. Why, since I got on the Straw Hat Pirates ship, have I gradually become Luffy? Luffy's influence is too strong. I just didn't realize that I was fooling around with them. Lynch knelt in front of Nami and asked himself. Go pick up the scattered fish quickly, Nami directed them. Nami, you are the captain, right? Wei Wei asked carefully. No, they need to be beaten from time to time, otherwise they will make you angry. Wei Wei, let's go take a shower together. I feel so uncomfortable. Lynch saw Sanji said in front of Nami again, take a shower, can we take a shower together? Sanji also got a big bag and a small bag. At this point, except for Usopp who worked hard, the other four were all beaten by Nami. Nami said while looking at the record pointer at the bow, yes, it's connected to Cactus Island. Our next destination is that island. Luffy said excitedly while sitting in his special seat, then we will be on the second island of the Grand Line. The Mary sailed to the island. Strange animal calls could be heard from both sides of the shore from time to time. Usopp trembled and said, is this the small garden? Nami also worriedly said, it doesn't look like a place as cute as the name. Vivi said, this is a secret place. There are dense forests everywhere. We must be careful. Will there be any monsters appear? Or should we just go to the next island? Usopp said with cold sweat on his face. Usopp, the magnetism won't be restored so quickly, Lynch said. Although he knew what would happen on the island, he was going to experience it in person after all, so he was still looking forward to it. Lynch thought. Nami, there is a port ahead, Let's stop the Mary there, Lynch said. Nami looked at the shore. It feels so dangerous to land here. There are many plants here that I have never seen in the illustrations. A strange cry came from the forest. A huge bird in the sky swooped down towards the Mary. It regarded Sanji standing by the ship as its prey and grabbed Sanji with its 2 claws. Sanji, be careful. With Lynch's reminder, Sanji escaped the giant bird's attack. Usopp and Nami were so scared that they hugged each other. My old illness has relapsed. I will die if I go to this island. I will never go up there. Usopp cried. Luffy looked at the jungle with excitement on his face. Sanji, give me a lunchbox, I want to go on an adventure. Can you prepare one for me too? I want to share too. Wei Wei asked carefully. Of course, Princess Vivi. Sanji smiled and put the lunch into Kalu's backpack. He also prepared a drink for Kalu. Luffy and Vivi went to the jungle for adventure together. Zoro jumped off the boat and walked leisurely into the forest. Sanji reminded him, hey, there's not much food on the boat, bring back some prey. Zoro turned around and challenged, got it, I will definitely catch some prey that you definitely can't catch, hee. Seeing Sanji who didn't want to get off the boat, Lynch threw away the cigarette in his mouth and put his hands in his pockets. Stop right there, what are you talking about? You can catch prey bigger than me. Of course. Zoro sneered. Let's have a hunting competition. Listen carefully and see who can catch the bigger and heavier prey. Lynch was very interested and said, I will participate too. Sanji said, Lynch, this is a battle between me and Zoro, I must beat him. But at this time, Nami was crying, holding Lynch's arm and said, Lynch, you stay. You just saw that there are so many beasts in the forest. If you all leave, Usopp and I will become their prey. He wiped away Nami's tears and agreed to him. He will definitely have a chance to go to the island. He hasn't seen the giants yet, which is really exciting. Lynch stayed on the ship, and Nami and Usopp were relieved. Nami, who was on the boat just now, suddenly ran to the cabin. Nami, what are you looking for? Nami, let us help you find it together. Lynch and Usopp saw Nami constantly flipping through books and ignoring their words. I finally found it, Nami said excitedly while holding the book. Have you found the book you want, Nami? Lynch asked. Nami nodded. What book is this? Usopp looked confused. She was horrified. For the residents there, this island is like a small courtyard. Let's call this land a small garden. This is what explorer Lewis Arnold wrote in his book. What does Nami mean by this? Usopp is still confused. This island has. At this time, the birds and animals in the jungle seemed to be frightened and fled in all directions. A huge sound rang out, and Lynch felt that the sound was getting closer and closer to the Mary. The sound seemed to be footsteps. Is it finally here? Lynch was secretly happy, and he was going to learn more about the world of pirates. The big trees near the shore fell one after another, and a huge figure came out of the forest to the side of the Mary. It's the giants, Usopp and Nami's best friend duo said in unison. The two were so scared that they couldn't stop crying. They stood there blankly, their bodies seemed to be frozen. The giant lowered his huge head and looked carefully at the 3 people on the deck. He shouted, do you have any wine? Lynch was really panicked when he saw the giant Brokey, but how could he let others see that he was timid, so he put his hands in his pockets, strong and calm, and stood in front of Usopp and Nami. We have some wine, but it's specially made by our chef, said Lynch. Really? You have it, and it's specially made. Wow 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 haha. Dinosaur. Usopp was so scared that he stuttered. Brokey turned around, pulled out the axe from his body, chopped at the head of the Tyrannosaurus Rex, and grabbed it in his hand. Brokey held up the head of the Tyrannosaurus Rex and shouted to the 3 people, I am the strongest warrior of Elbaf, Brokey. Nice to meet you, Brokey. My name is Lynch. I'm your partner. The one with the long nose is Usopp, the pretty girl is Nami, and we are the Straw Hat Pirates. Lynch knew that Brokey had no hostility, so he became bolder. It's been a long time since I've seen so many people. It's really fun. Now we have meat and wine. I'll entertain you today, my guests. Brokey became more and more excited as he spoke. Hey, Lynch, please reject it quickly. Lynch, you must not go, we will be eaten as snacks by the giants. Usopp and Nami whispered. Frightened one after another, Usopp and Nami's duo were lying on the ground pretending to be dead. Brokey saw the two people who fell down, scratched his head and asked, what happened to them? They were so tired from the long voyage that they fell asleep, said Lin Chi. Wow 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 wow, what an interesting human being. Brocky laughed. Wait a minute, I'll get the chef's special wine, let's taste it together, Lin Chi said. Ah, Lynch, are you crazy? You actually want us to have dinner with the giants. I asked you to stay to protect us, but now you are sending us to the giants. I don't believe you anymore. Usopp and Nami whispered with tears in their eyes. You and I accused Lynch one by one. Lynch is now looking forward to having a couple of drinks with Broge. Shadow clone technique. Before Lynch and Broge left, he sent a clone to search for Mr. 3 in the forest. He had to see what Mr. 3's conspiracy was. He knew that Mr. 3 would use Mr. 5's explosive ability to tamper with the wine that the giant drank, so that both the giants would lose and he could get the bounty. Now that Mr. 5 has been killed by him, he wants to see what other tricks Mr. 3 has. The clone is good for searching for intelligence. After all, the memory and experience of the clone will return to the original body after it is released. The scene changed. In the small garden forest, there stood a house made of candles. A man wearing glasses and with a special three-shaped hairstyle was drinking coffee leisurely. This was Mr. 3, the future vice chairman of Senryodo Baki. Next to him, there was a little girl painting. Mr. 5, has Mr. Valentine been killed? These two. Mr. 3 sighed. Mr. 3, according to the intelligence of the unlucky duo, Mr. 5 was killed by a ninja who claimed to be from the land of fire at Whiskey Peak, said the little girl while painting. Mr. 3 said dissatisfiedly, please don't call me by my code name in public casually, be careful that the walls have ears. The little girl stuck out her tongue. Mr. 3, who had just sighed, said with a smile, no matter what a ninja is, their level is too low. Excellent agents fight with excellent brains, not brute force. This is fine, the captain of the Straw Hat Pirates, Monkey D. Luffy, it's worth 30 million Baileys, plus the Blue Demon Tori and the Red Demon Brokey of the giant pirates on the island, a total of 230 million Baileys, all belong to us. As he said, he took out the wanted orders for the three people. Brother 3 has a mysterious confidence in his wisdom. Mr. 3, now that Mr. 5 is dead, what about your plan? The little girl said worriedly. How can such a small problem be difficult for me? I have already developed a time bomb. Just wait and see the show. Brother 3 said confidently. With his intelligence, the Straw Hat Pirates, the Blue Oni and the Red Oni, none of them can escape his grasp. Lynch's clone has been eavesdropping outside the house, listening to their conversation. Now Lynch has learned about Mr. 3's conspiracy. In the residence of the Red Oni Brokey. Brokey looked at Nami and Usopp, who were still pretending to be dead, and said worriedly, your friend can sleep really well. Hasn't he woken up yet? The delicious dinosaur meat will be ready soon. Lynch had completely let go of his vigilance against Brokey and was grilling meat with him. But Nami and Usopp, lying on the ground, were still afraid of the giants. Nami, the giants are feeding us dinosaur meat now. Did they want to fatten us up and then eat us? Absolutely, we must not eat the meat he gives us. Nami said, turning to look at the giant's residence, where there were many skeletons piled up on one side. Usopp, please don't open your eyes, Nami said with tears in her eyes. Wow 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 wow, what a special wine, I haven't drunk so fast in a long time, come on Linky, let's have a drink, Brocky said excitedly. Cheers! Lin Chi shouted. He couldn't enjoy the good food and wine alone. He had to wake them up. Hey, Usopp, Nami is about to wake up, I know you guys are pretending to sleep. Lynch shouted as he walked over to them. He also tempted them with barbecue. Hey, Lynch, go away. Don't let the giant find us. Usopp whispered. What, your friend is awake? Broge said. Broge used his hands to easily lift Usopp and Nami up. Usopp and Nami sat next to Lynch, looking at the dinosaur meat brought by the giant, with their eyes closed, and said they would not eat anything. Lynch said, Usopp, don't you want to be a brave sea warrior? Don't you want to listen to the adventure stories of the giants? Thanks for watching.